This one comic quite literally made everyone love this character of Gravity Falls. The Lost Legends comic Face It is loved by a lot of fans because of how Pacifica gets redeemed after being so terribly rude for most of the show. I made a video talking about her one scene, moment, and even her redemption arc, but something interesting that everyone will remember is that her character gets kinda stunted after her redemption in the episode Northwest Mansion Mystery. And I believe that this single comic was meant to fix that. Please consider joining and becoming a channel member so I can keep making stupid videos like these. And as always, thank you for watching. So a scene in a moment later, Pacifica never really hangs out with Dipper and Mabel like at all. She is only ever seen with her parents, like when her dad's face morphs. And when she has basically less than equal screen time with Gideon during the finale.
When are you gonna open your presents already? I broke a nail wrapping them.
But even after all they've been through and the tears shed, Pacifica is only really cool with the Pines twins, but like not anybody else. Like this was her reaction to a hobo in the finale.
Ew, I'm not touching that.
Do it, sweetie. Do the one thing no one in our family has ever done. Touch the hillbilly.
But this comic was set after all of that. So how do they fix her? Well, it starts with Ford giving Dipper Journal 1 and 2 while he goes out the window.
Use the door next time, show off!
And then they pretty much instantly get a ring at the door from Pacifica herself. Just like in the Northwest Mansion Mystery episode where Dipper slams the door in her face.
I need your help.
You're the worst. See?
But this time they don't. They'd have like just an actual chat, which is growth, baby. Dipper says, "Heh, long time no see. Any ghosts try to murder you this week?" And Pacifica says, "I wish." And then reveals that she has a wrinkle.
I got my first wrinkle. Look.
As a 12-year-old, she has like an entire wrinkle on her face. And obviously Dipper laughs, but it is a little more interesting than just her having a wrinkle because she has a photo shoot today for her annual Northwest Family magazine. Where you can see last year how they look all prim and proper, where they look exactly the same, so they really could just reuse the last year since it's exactly that flipping same. She's even wearing the same jacket she is right now. But she needs to get it done because otherwise they'll cut off one of her 6 credit cards.
I need to look perfect for this year's photo or they'll cut off one of my 6 credit cards.
6 credit cards? You only need the one. But something that really isn't shown in the entire show since the Northwest Mansion Mystery episode, that she says this, and I'll quote it right now: "Ever since the haunting in Northwest Manor, I've been on thin ice with mom and dad." We never really see that in the show at all. And in fact, this is like the only time it's mentioned ever since. Because during the show, we see her hanging out with them, and especially in the finale, we see her get so shocked that she's only getting like one llama or horse or whatever, and it's like, okay, Pacifica.
You're only going to have one pony now.
So not only is it not really in the show that they're on thin ice, it's kind of shown to be the opposite, because she only kind of confronts her dad a little bit against Bill, but she's kind of just like, "Dad," like annoyingly.
One of your horsemen of the apocalypse?
Dad?
Not now, sweetie.
Dad?
But the reason that she came to the house was to use some of Dipper's magic, because she knows now that he has a book full of magical shit. So she wants to get a part of that to get rid of her wrinkles. But Dipper says no. So she says, "Okay, can I use your restroom?" And he says, "Yeah, it's up there, right next to the room where the fucking journal is." Lying is fine if it's in service of what really matters: looks. And she comes across Journal 1, meaning that there's some sort of spell or monster that can come out of this book that's not in Journal 3, which is probably what they would do if they did more of Gravity Falls, because we have Journal 3, so they can't surprise us with any monsters or anything if it's in Journal 3. And when going through the journal to find something to get rid of her wrinkle, she sees somebody called Mr. What's-His-Face, who can fix anything about your face you don't like for a price. And she does the ancient incantation that makes the beast be summoned.
To summon him, simply finish reading this sentence. Yes, this sentence, the one you're reading aloud right now.
Who has a really cool design with a gold tooth, but it's interesting how as soon as he appears, he changes the conversation from, "Hey, this wrinkle," to, "But I can do so much more. I could give you a entire blemish-free face forever." Very, all of a sudden, like very crazy, as he puts up a demon pentagram up to her face. But while they're making a transfer, Dipper and Mabel come in with a feel better sweater, and then he turns and instantly zaps Mabel's face. It seems like it was a whole process to get rid of Pacifica's face, but then for Mabel, it's like instantly instantly gone. Look at that. She has no facial features anymore. See, what I should have done is also remove her flesh. And then Mr. What's-His-Face literally just goes, yeah, okay, I came here for a face, so I'm just gonna leave now. And then he just goes away with Mabel's face because of Pacifica being all vain and about her looks. Which is honestly why this is such a good comic for people looking for more Pacifica, because this episode literally has a perfect plot for anybody looking for Pacifica and seeing her character change. By showing, no, she hasn't changed, but she is doing a little better. Which I think most people that are upset about Pacifica, like basically having no character at the Northwest Mansion Mystery, wanted some more stuff like this, just more episodes making her character better and better over time. Which all our concerns with Pacifica as a character just answered in this one Cartwright chase over to wherever Mr. What's-His-Face is. Where Dipper goes, I can't believe you, Pacifica. Didn't you learn anything during the ghost incident?
Can't believe you, Pacifica. Didn't you learn anything during the ghost incident?
Actually bringing up, hey, why is Pacifica's character basically not learning anything, even though they went through like 2 episodes, a scene and a moment for her redemption arc, and is directly confronts it. Dipper literally even saying, like, maybe something about growing as a person. These comics are so funny too, because if you like were in the community and heard anybody say anything like bad about the show, they bring it up in these comics. Like they have one about Mabel being a bad person. Tell me if you want to hear about that in the comics, because that one's also a very interesting comic. But Pacifica responds to any of that by, I happen to care about my appearance, alright? Just like how you care about kissing aliens or whatever. I've never kissed an alien. I've never kissed anyone. That's not true. You kissed Mermando. That was your first kiss, Dipper. You can't lie to me now. You kissed a merman.
Blackmail.
And then Mr. What's-His-Face goes inside of Mr. What's-His-Face goes inside of a room that has a brick wall behind it after he closes the door. And then Dipper uses something that fans also complain about the fact he never uses again, the president's key that can open any door, which can also apparently open this paranormal door. And then they jump down into the belly of the beast, where we see this market full of references and Easter eggs. It's crazy. Like, go get this comic. It's really cool to just like look at. The art is so nice. You see a unicorn and a gnome doing a deal. You see the little gremlin guy from the shorts, the hand lady from the bottomless pit episode, the invisible man opening up his cloak to show another cloak. There's even a little bill in the background. Why are all these guys here? Well, it's something that's actually really cool idea that they didn't use during the show, is a paranormal black market under the town, which is such a cool idea. I feel like an entire show could just be about this, honestly, with how interesting of an idea that is. There's even a little punching in and a platypus, which has somebody from the Society of a Blind Eye selling memories, which makes no real sense because Society of Blind Eye disbands at the end of that episode, and then the next episode is Northwest Mansion Mystery. Oh, maybe they could air out a date. At the end of the episode, McGucket has the laptop, which happens at the end of Society of Blind Eye. So I would really want to hear whatever this is about. Because I could be like, oh, this is something that doesn't make sense within the lore of Gravity Falls. But with something that could be even more interesting is if this can make sense. Like maybe there's a whole story about this one guy who's even pretending to be one of the society members just selling these memories. Because in there you have Tambry, Tad Strange, Abuelita, Gideon. Like there's so many people, including Miss Coyroy.
Borderoy?
Hey, these are so many like big people within the show that just have their memories down here with a random guy. Just a random guy with a cloak. Something that's pretty funny is that after Dipper's like, wow, this is such an interesting thing. The crawl space, this underground market that the author has been looking for years. We must be the first humans to ever make it alive inside. And then Pacifica says, wow, if this is what your days are like, I understand why your only friend is a book. But Dipper says, if we're going to find my sister's face, we're going to need disguises. Cover yourself in garbage. What? We need to blend in. You don't want to get eaten by monsters, do you? And then she rubs garbage with like fish guts on her face. And then Dipper laughs at her. It says, I just did that to see if you do it.
I just said that to see if you do it.
What?
Which is so fucked up. And then Pacifica uses her ability to lie, which she says the Northwest can't turn off, to lie about herself being Jackie the Elf Bandit who is selling Dipper the Troll Boy.
Quiet, troll boy. Servants, am I right?
Which is good enough lie to make this random guy that came up to them go away, but also shows she's really good at lying. Then we see across the way that Mr. What's-His-Name is selling a face to Toby Determined, which means Dipper, you're not the first human to be down here, and or Toby Determined is a goblin. like many have theorized. But we see a lot of references on the face, including Toot Toot.
Toot Toot is my name.
Or the Society of the Blind Eyes Ivan just on his back, which has some pretty crazy connotations. Also, look at the white quail on the ground.
Oh, it's a little bird. There's a fucking Riddler trophy on that motherfucker.
But before Dipper could even just like go up to the guy, walk 1 foot, there's a crow called Dr. Crow's Feet selling beauty pills. So of course Pacifica's like, huh? Guaranteed to cure your wrinkles and make you a stunning queen, girl? And Dipper's like, dude, we have no time for this. My sister's face is stolen. But Pacifica cares so much about her photo that she's like, you need this. Dipper could have been like, oh, let's just take it and go. But I guess he's just so mad at Pacifica for still being an awful person. So he's like, why are you so obsessed with looking so impossibly perfect? Can't you just accept that you're human? Could have said that a little bit more quieter, Dipper. So they get instantly caught, surrounded by everybody, and they're about to be sold into human trafficking. I got ourselves a right proper human auction. Which they're gonna have an actual human child bidding going on, where we see Slender Man, the Slender Man, patting down his pockets.
Oh gosh, where's my wallet? Where's my wallet? Oh gosh.
Well, this is also a reference to the fact that there's a whole hoax that went on about Slenderman being in Gravity Falls. And then guess what? He is in Gravity Falls now, which is crazy. That's so... See, this is what I actually want season 3 to be. I don't want any canon episodes. I don't want any lore. I just want character arcs and funny bits. I just need Slenderman patting down his pockets to get some more children in his children army of children. Like, Ticky Ticky Toby, try to get to know me.
So, hope your kids like burlap.
But thank goodness that the Mr. What's-His-Name just literally buys them. Because if anybody else bought them, this would have been like twice as long of an episode. And then Grunkle Stan comes in and says, Mabel, have you seen my world's most distracting object? Which is one of my favorite jokes in the show from the first episode. My phone wallpaper is literally a screenshot from that of this little kid going, oh. Earlier in the episode, you see in this marketplace is the world's most distracting object. It was during the wide open shop sold by a guy saying assorted curses backed by unpopular demand. Which also seems like there's a love potion right next to him and a tooth. But yeah, Grunkle Stan just barges in just so Mabel can have this really creepy scene of her drawing on a fake smile in a shot that goes unreasonably hard while he just backs up slowly. And while Dipper's trying so hard to get out of this sack that the Mr. What's-His-Name has him in, Pacifica is just doing nothing besides looking at these beauty pills and reading that the side effects has spontaneous space explosion. What's even the point of these pills? They're beauty pills that just explode your face? That crow is an expert salesman. She got this stuff without even knowing that they explode your face. You see how like large of a drawing this is? And then we get what's basically the flashlight scene of this comic in this burlap sack being carried away to God knows where by Mr. What's-His-Name. I love saying his name, Mr. What's-His-Name. Say it out loud right now, Mr. What's-His-Name. It's such a good, it's so fun to say. Where Dipper says her dumb obsession with her looks getting them basically in more and more trouble throughout this entire episode. And she says, I'm sorry, you wouldn't understand what I'm dealing with. And then he sits down next to her just like in the flashlight scene.
Well, maybe you could try explaining.
And she says, there's just so much pressure on me, Dipper. She reveals that her mom is a literal trophy wife won in a yachting competition. So that means that she always taught her that beauty was everything. And we see an example which is the best example of how terrible her parents are, which is her mom reading The Ugly Duckling to Pacifica, ripping out the last pages where the ugly duckling is like, it's okay for them to be ugly, saying to her kid, nope, there's no more pages, enjoy your beauty sleep, you've got a pageant tomorrow. Which this plus the bell shows how terribly emotionally abusive her parents are to her throughout the entire show. It's so crazy. They just have literal like terrible things happen to this child throughout this show. And a quote that hits really hard, Pacifica says, my mom always said people judge a book by its cover. I need my cover, Dipper, because without it, I'm not sure who I really am.
My mom always said people judge a book by its cover. I need my cover, Dipper, because without it, I'm not sure who I really am.
Wow, that is terrible for her. But that sentence is like, oh, it just hits her character so hard. It's so good. Oh. But Dipper, just like in a Flashlight episode, comforts her by directly telling her, Pacifica, you've got to stop worrying about what other people think. And then he says, I mean, the happiest people I know are Mabel and Grunkle Stan. One has chips in her hair and the other never wears pants. I thought what Dipper was going to say for a second is, I mean, the happiest people I know are Mabel and Grunkle Stan. They're ugly as shit, but they're happy. But something I love about what he says here, when talking about the looks, he doesn't say, your parents are terrible for doing that. He doesn't say, oh, it's stupid for you to look at your looks. He says specifically, the happiest people I know don't care about their looks, which I think is very important for Pacifica right now, is hearing about specifically the happiest, how to be happy, how to feel better. So saying particularly that is like, that's really good. Dipper is too good at talking in these random emotional moments compared to everything else. Couldn't do that with Mabel in the finale, which caused Weirdmageddon, but you know. And then he says, as much as I hate to admit it, you're smart, creative, confident. Forget about your dumb family. Ever since you saved me in Northwest Manor, I've noticed another side of you. I think I see the real Pacifica, and you're more just a pretty face. Did he just call her pretty? Which is really nice though. Like, this is really nice. This is so good. This is what anybody who cares about Pacifica's character wanted to happen in this show. But one thing that we talked about in the One Moment video is that, oh, the animation that this person did was a bit better because I had this symbolic flashlight, and also she hugs him at the end. Well, we get that right here in this comic, where after Dipper says all of that, she hugs him. Instead of like in the mansion episode where Pacifica is like, can I pay you to ignore that? She doesn't. She sits there and goes, your head's not that big.
Your head's not that big.
Thanks.
That's probably the biggest sign of progress with Pacifica's character this entire time. We went from this hug with Dipper being a nice thing that goes into her making a joke and being like, can I pay you not to do that? Into something very sincere and like emotional for both of them. Emotional growth. And that's very nice. But then they get dumped out in front of Mr. What's-His-Name and they have to confront him one last time, where this time Dipper's face gets taken, meaning Pacifica and her alone needs to fix this thing that she caused, but not without Mr. What's-His-Name trying to trick her one last time, but showing her perfect face that he can give her. which is literally like yassified Pacifica. Holy crap, look at the she even has more texture in her hair. And then immediately after that, he threatens her with what her face could look like if she goes against him, which has obviously Pacifica's most nightmare version of herself, what she would never want to look like in a billion years. Which is honestly oddly similar to what Mabel's big fear was when fighting Bill Cipher in the mind, where she specifically loses her cuteness.
What did you do to my
Cuteness.
Which I never even thought about how similar these two people are, just with that one scene of Mabel being very upset about not being cute. Like, Pacifica cares about looking good, but Mabel cares about looking cute. There is a little bit of a difference there, but obviously you can see they both have the sin of vanity, so these fuckers are going to hell anyway.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole.
Also, when you go to hell, you become Starguard, I guess.
You're in my world now.
But the Mr. What's-His-Face says, looks don't last, Pacifica, and when you're ugly, no one will love you. So what will it be? Your looks or theirs? And the Pacifica balls up her fists and goes, how about yours? And throws the exploding pills from earlier, literally throwing her problems with this episode at the guy to combat her problems. Like, this is like such obvious storytelling, but is like so good. The guy says, my face, my beautiful flesh tornado of a face. And then after exploding his face, and then she takes their faces and runs out of there while he says, when I get my hands on you, they'll never find your faceless bodies. Which almost goes as hard as when Bill Cipher said, I'm gonna make these children into corpses.
Got some children I need to make into corpses.
When I get my hands on you, they'll never find your faceless bodies.
But the door they go through actually goes out of an outhouse where Ford happens to be. He shoots with a freeze ray, and Mabel finally gets her freaking face back. Oh my gosh, it's been like a whole episode. It's only been a whole episode since she's lost her face. But oh no, Pacifica has her photo shoot at 6. It's 5:55. She says, my photo shoot is in 5 minutes, and I look. And she looks down in a puddle with all the rubble on her face and like fish guts and fire in her hair. And she says, I look like me. Which is, oh, character growth. Oh my gosh. And she goes, thanks guys, I needed this. It's like, oh, a nice moment. I like her little pose she does too. She's like has subdued look to her, but she's also clearly has like confidence about the fact that she like looks like her. She's like found herself basically across this episode. And I absolutely love this shot with Pacifica in between Mabel and Dipper, just like in the Cartwright episode, just reverse with Mabel and Dipper on both the sides, and they're all cool with each other now. It's such a full circle moment, a full arc. Like, this comic did a really good job of being all these moments combined into one comic The title, it says one comic. And she says thanks to everybody, and it calls Ford hot, which is like, yes, Pacifica, exactly, Pacifica, exactly.
Hey, why is Stan suddenly hot now?
Move that and pay the price.
And then the last shot of the comic is her on the photo shoot cover, covered in terribleness with a banana on her head, with the tagline, Pacifica goes Pacific crazy. They allowed her to like go up there like that? Like, they're clearly disgusted. Why did they like allow her to go in like that? Like, they could have at least taken off the banana peel. But look at her, she's going, school's out, freaks,
School's out, freaks.
So overall, this episode, comic, did a really good job of redeeming Pacifica yet again. Everyone was so disappointed with Pacifica's character after the Northwest Mansion mystery, because as we said earlier, she really did just kind of regress in her character, it seemed. So showing her growing here and having like more of a character really did a good job of making everybody feel much better about everything. It's probably my favorite comic in the collection because it's really good story. It brings back a lot of elements like the President's Key and just so many different little things and interesting Easter eggs like Ada the Owl Lady or Slender Gosh Dang Man.
Finally, I have my ex-wife.
This could have been an episode during the show, and I think everybody would have been like, this is one of the best episodes of the show. And I do believe that. But one thing I want to end this video off with is something that happens a little bit after, where we see the text messages between Dipper and Pacifica. Yeah, that's right. Dipper and Pacifica texting each other, where Pacifica says, hey Dipper, so about that hug, don't get the wrong idea or anything. There was Monster Drill on my sleeve, and I was just wiping it off on you. As if I'd actually hug you on purpose. Then responds Mabel, who goes, Pacifica? This is Mabel. Dipper doesn't have a cell phone. What hug? Which makes you wonder how did this even happen? And then, because I've been using the comic dub throughout this entire episode, I'm going to use their delivery on this because it's very good.
What? Nothing. This was a prank text.
OMG, do you like Dipper?
Delete this number.
That's the wedding.
I'm sending my butler to break your legs.
And that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Click on screen on whatever YouTube thinks you'll like next, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. When I thought about the fact that Pacifica has a comic, I was like, I have to continue this series with the most popular thing, but thinking about it more, I was like, this is actually a really good like conclusion to the entire series I've been doing. I might make more because there's definitely some other things to talk about with Pacifica. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, my freaks. Bye bye.
I'm sending my butler to break your legs.
It's me, your growing stick.